Oh, I hit record on accident, so I guess we're starting. Hi.
Welcome to Historia.
Yes.
I'm Jamie.
Kylie.
Your dog's licking my foot.
Of course she is. Are we surprised?
What a wonderful Friday night.
It is. It's very nice.
It is our third one of the night?
Yeah, our third episode of the night out of 4.
Gotta prep because we have stuff in our lives.
We do. Yes. So we like to record a bunch at once, and then we don't have to worry about it for a few weeks.
Plus, it gives me time to do big ones.
Yeah, for sure. We tried my wedding dress on. If you were listening last week,
yes,
it's
so pretty. I love it.
Yay.
I love the bees.
Don't give
the
details away.
I know. I don't know if Basil listens, so
no,
I'm
he doesn't.
Okay.
I could tell the whole description. He would never know. He's on episode 4. So
I mean, those ones are really
yeah.
hard
I'm just
to
gonna
get
be
through.
like, can you skip a few? Oh, maybe one day we'll redo them, or we'll just keep them as a hot mess.
Honestly, I would like to do a revamping of the Titanic, because did
Yeah.
you see that they just had their 110-year anniversary?
Yeah.
It was probably a couple weeks now.
It was a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd like to redo Disney, just because that was such a good episode, but the sound is just
I love Disney.
Yeah.
I want to go back. I've been seeing that Disney is having some issues though with how the family is pretty much is just they don't like the
Genie Plus.
well, people don't like that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more so just people are upset about the reservations and stuff like that. They're the park is just so overcrowded. They're saying that they're at a certain capacity, but it's just so popular. And I'm you're the one wanting to go.
Yeah.
What did you expect? Millions of people love Disney.
And they haven't been able to really go the last couple years. So now everyone wants to go.
Exactly,
including
because
me.
Disneyland was closed until last year.
Yeah.
The beginning of last year. So having it open, slow season isn't gonna happen until probably in the next year or two. But because people love Disney, they're gonna want to go, and that's just something that you have to prepare for. And a lot of people are why don't they just build more, and I'm I don't think you realize how much legal work that takes, how much money that takes, how much time.
Right.
It's I feel the same way, Harley. I feel the same way.
I need to pet you.
But this isn't a Disney podcast. I would love to have a Disney podcast,
That would be so fun.
That would be a lot of fun. But this isn't. This is a history podcast, so let's get into history.
Oh my gosh. So today's episode might make you thirsty.
I'm thirsty all the time. What you mean? Girl, it's dry as hell here.
Okay. I'm trying to think of another segue. Well, I will tell you, the last couple weeks we've talked about Germany.
Oh.
We're going to talk about Germany again. A little bit.
Yeah.
So, but today is not about a person.
Oh.
It is about a thing, a company.
Oh.
The invention of one of the biggest markets in...
Can I guess?
Yeah.
The printing press?
No.
Oh.
Today, we're going to be talking about Coca-Cola.
Oh, shit. No way.
Yeah. And
Coke.
here's why. Because my whole life I've been told, you just have cocaine in it and all this. And, so I've just always been curious. So I was I'm just going to research. And I did.
Powder cocaine, the leaf.
Yeah. So
Cacao,
we have a lot of fun things to talk about today. This is a pretty good one. I'm excited.
Oh, I wanted to cover it at some point. Well, I guess you're doing it, so it's cool.
Too bad.
Wait, it starts in Germany?
Well, no, but there's Germany involved in the story.
Oh, I guess I don't know that much.
During the war. It's always the war.
I watched a drunk history episode on this.
Nice.
And I wasn't really paying attention because I'm pretty sure I was drunk as well.
You're I don't even like Coca-Cola, honestly. I don't. I don't like cherry Coke. I don't like Diet Coke. I don't like any of them except vanilla Coke.
I heard my mom just went to Mexico and she said that Coke from Mexico is better. Mm-hmm. Because she was saying it's not as sweet.
Interesting.
But then again, she had Diet Coke because she can't have regular Coke.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't like Coke, but like I watched 2 documentaries on this and I just like wanted a Coke so bad. I was like, I just want to go to McDonald's. But I had a Coke today and I was like, no.
Yeah,
it's not the vibe.
It's too sweet for me.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I can't do Coke Zero because it tastes too much like regular Coke, so it's too sweet. Mm-hmm. But I like Diet Coke, which is like really bad for you, but I don't care.
I think it's worse for you than Coke, but it's just not. I don't know.
I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Mm-hmm, me too. Yep.
Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. Amen. All right. Well, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Cool. So a long time ago, and this is actually around the same time period as my last episode, which is interesting. So during the Adam Worth time, because I'm in the 1880s.
Hey.
So during this time, a lot of people were against doctors and believed that they were trying to kill them and just didn't want to listen to professionals. And so they started making their own remedies and their own medicines.
Oh, yeah.
Which just, that's all I can say.
Well, they would sell them too. They would go through towns and sell them in like their carts and stuff.
Yeah, it's hella sketchy and dangerous. Like this was killing people. And
you want some mercury?
Okay. Yeah. So they're just like putting all these chemicals together and then being like, hey, this will cure your headache. And it's like, oh, we'll see.
This ain't no ibuprofen.
Right. Definitely not. So we have a gentleman named Dr. John Pemberton. And he was very into this product called the Mariani drink. And this was a mix of wine and cocaine, and it had other chemicals in it. And he believed that this was just the cure to life. Like, this was the best drink that anyone could have. And so he used it for everything. Like, whenever, even when they'd get, like, a scar, they would pour it on there. I'm like, oh, my God! They, like, fully believed in it, that it was, like, the biggest revolution that could happen. And so Dr. John Pemberton created a new type of drink, prescription medicine, I guess right now it's medicine, called the French wine coca. That's what he called it. And everybody was like, yes, this is going to fix all my problems, from my headache, my stomachache, fatigue. Even some people used it for sex problems if they were having a hard time.
But they just put it on their dick?
No, I think they just drank it and they were like, okay, now we can do it. They're like, hold on, I gotta... Oh my God, it burns. Yeah, so the cool thing... cool. I don't know how to... an interesting thing about this was that it did contain cocaine. And this drink was a mix of red wine, caffeine, and coca leaf extract, which had a really bitter taste. And so he knew that people were into this medicine and they were buying it for a lot of money.
Yeah.
He was making bank on it. And so he decided, let's just add, because people are complaining about the coca taste. It was very strong and bitter. And he's like, if we just add sugar and more cocaine and then remove the alcohol, I feel like it's going to be really good. And at this time, people really did not believe that cocaine was a problem. Like, there's really nothing wrong with it. It's just normal.
You know what's a bigger addiction than cocaine? Sugar.
Yeah.
I will fight that sugar is a drug.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
It's 10 times more addictive.
It is. So, like, the mixing sugar and cocaine, you got yourself an addict right there.
Where's my proof? I don't know. But it's my assumption.
I mean, like, it kills a lot of people. Sugar.
Yeah, that's how you get diseases.
Yeah. So then we got to a point where, giving children this remedy to cure them, knowing that it had alcohol in it, and then alcohol becomes illegal, and they're like, we should probably take away the alcohol. So they took the wine out of it, and then they, like I said, they added more sugar and cocaine. And it was legal, and they wanted kids and all ages to be able to drink it. So they're like, let's just add some more sugar. The kids will love it. Like, okay.
With the thing with the coca leaf too, or like that leaf, is that the farmers that harvest it, they will take little pieces of it and they'll suck on it.
Yeah.
Because it gets them energized to like keep doing it, and it's kind of numbing in a sense. I watched a documentary on it actually a while ago on it, and I was just like, they were like, yeah, and they show like a video of like people taking it, the farmers, and they're like sucking on it.
Yeah. That's so interesting.
So it's like,
it was common.
I mean, you not only have, I can't imagine how many people were bouncing off the walls, like with both the coca leaves in there and then the sugar. Yeah.
Caffeine. It's like, oh my God. So Pepperton decides we're going to make this a new drink. Like we're not going to call it wine cola anymore because obviously it's not, or wine coca, because there's not wine in it.
Yeah.
So he's trying to think of a name for it, and he's like, I don't know what to call this. And then he meets an accountant that he hires, and his name is Frank Robinson. He's like, what about Coca-Cola? And he's like, I like it. And the reason for this is because, coca, they're using the coca leaves for cocaine. And then the cola was the cola beans that have the caffeine. So that is where it got its name. Pretty self-explanatory, but just in case you were curious. And then not only did Robinson come up with the actual name, but he also came up with the logo, the design where we see the cursive, like the fancy C.
Yeah.
So he actually came up with that design. Yeah.
That's neat.
So they started releasing it still as a medicine. In the first year, they had only sold $50 worth of stock. So it was not very successful. And Dr. Pepperton actually died right after this. Wait. Dr. Pepperton. They named it after him.
Wait, Dr. Pepper isn't owned by Coca-Cola, is it?
Yeah. No, because I think Dr. Pepper is its own thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't fall as a Pepsi or Coke product.
No.
But they probably named it after Dr. Pepperton. Pepper. Oh my God. I didn't even think of this last night.
You got to do the history of Dr. Pepper now.
Yeah. That's coming next. Wow. I just realized that Dr. Pepper probably came from him.
Watch it not be.
I know. Now I need to figure it out. But he died before even seeing the success of Coca-Cola. Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Because this is going to bother me.
So it's not.
What?
Yeah. So the drink was named after an actual doctor, Charles T. Pepper, of Rural Retreat, Virginia.
Screw him.
Yeah. He gave, it wasn't actually, I guess the name was just bestowed from like a dude that actually knew the doctor. Whoever Morrison is.
Lame.
So.
I was really hoping it'd be Dr. Pepperton.
It's not.
Aww. Rest in peace, sir. But yeah, he didn't even know that Coca-Cola would be a success because he died before it got to that point.
That's a shame.
Yeah. And while he was on his deathbed, he sold the business because he knew he was dying. And he sold it to the new owner named Asa Candler. This guy burned all of the original papers.
What?
So we don't know what contract he had, what he was supposed to do. It all is just gone. This guy's a little sus.
Yeah.
But one of his main objectives was to put the logo on almost everything. So any advertising opportunity that he had, he took. And that's why, you see like, especially at this time, there was Coca-Cola calendars, and like you walk into a store, there's Coca-Cola toys everywhere. Yeah. Like the Coca-Cola bear. Like they just tried to advertise it anywhere that they could. And that was his idea, which actually helped it become a success. In 1902, he spent over $100,000 on advertising.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And that is why we see the Coca-Cola logo so much of the time. Is because of him. So he wanted people to basically see something that they cared about, or something that brought them joy, or just being at a place that brings them joy, to see the logo and then transfer that logo to like happiness.
Yeah.
So whenever they see it, they're like, oh, life is good. I want a Coca-Cola. I want one right now. And so that was his strategy. And so they were painting it on like walls of different buildings, just anywhere where they possibly could. And then they had, so at this time, they had sodas being sold at pharmacies from a soda fountain. So you got to pick your flavor, and then they put the syrup in it. So a lot of those sodas were like very similar. They weren't, they didn't have names really. It was just like pick a flavor.
Yeah.
And so Asa started to notice this, and he was like, what if we start by giving free drink coupons to like the number one fans of these pharmacies so that they'll want to get some Coca-Cola. And so, and at these pharmacies, there was a whole like spot for tables. Like people would come and sit and just enjoy their soda. It was just a gathering spot.
Interesting.
They had food. Yeah. At a pharmacy. I'm like, okay. Huh.
Sounds more like a restaurant or a cafe.
Yeah. But yeah, so what they would do is they would put the syrup in first, and then they would add a carbonated beverage to it. And what he did is he had one of the pharmacy owners gather his top 50 customers, and then he sent them coupons for a free Coca-Cola drink. And so that's what he did. So he was giving people free coupons. Oh. And Candler knew that having them drink it once would lead them to be customers for life. He's like, this shit is addictive, and I'm proud of it. So he was like, it's okay if we give them a free coupon because they're going to end up buying it. Yeah. So that was his thought process. And they made over 11,000 times the amount that it made the first year. Damn. By doing that. By the end of the 1890s, they were selling a quarter of a million gallons of syrup a year.
Holy shit.
So the soda industry was booming.
Yeah.
In the late 19th century, everybody was crazy about cocaine. Why not, right? Again, everyone loved it. But at the turn of the century, everything started to go against cocaine because cocaine began to be linked to crime in America. They were starting to notice a lot of people in insane asylums had cocaine in their system. And so they're like, it's affecting their brain. And so that's when they started going, maybe we shouldn't put cocaine in things. Shit. It's kind of like with tobacco, noticing that it's dangerous. So, yeah, it was released that this drug affects the brain rapidly. And that, again, the insane asylums of the South were filling up and overflowing with victims because of cocaine, or one of the causes. So Coca-Cola was told to remove any strain of cocaine that was in it. They wanted to keep the name Coca because it was already such a big name that they people knew it for that, so they couldn't just change the name. And so they still used the coca leaves with cocaine removed. So there was a whole process to make sure that the cocaine was fully out of the leaf, but they would still have the flavor. And that's what they ended up doing. Huh. So they had I didn't write down the whole process, but cleaning it and doing a bunch of things to the leaves until the cocaine was gone. And then in 1899, there were 2 lawyers who visited Asa Candler, and they wanted exclusive rights to bottled Coca-Cola. They were like, this could change everything. Huh. And he was like, whatever. At this time, bottled drinks had a bad reputation because many bottled drinks were near farms, bottled milk, that kind of thing. Yeah. So a lot of them are like, ew, that's gross. Like, we don't bottle drinks. And so that wasn't even like, Asa was like, we're not doing that. But they were like, just trust us. We got this. So he sold the contract for $1 to them.
Oh my God.
And they had rights to distribute it in bottles. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, the very first bottle was sealed by wire and rubber. And there was a rubber stopper. Mm-hmm. What you had to do is you broke the seal by breaking the seal off, and then it would make a pop sound, which is why people call it pop. Some people.
Wow.
I'm curious to know. I want to do polls when we post this episode. Like, what do you call it? Soda pop or
soda pop?
Some people call it like cola.
So I got when I worked at the movie theater, I got so many times this guy, he was like, can I get a Coke? And I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah. Did you want Coke Zero, regular Coke, Diet Coke? And he was like, Sprite.
Yeah.
I was
Oh
like,
my
what?
gosh, that always happened at the movie theater, and I'm like, that's not a Coke. That always bothered me so much.
It really bothers me because I'm like, it's not, Sprite is not Coke.
That just shows you how big Coke is.
Honestly.
Yeah, no, I call it soda, but I feel like growing up I called it pop because my mom always did.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, I'm gonna pop, and then everyone made fun of me, and I was like, now I say soda. But I'm gonna post a like a poll because I'm curious to see what everyone else calls it.
Yeah.
To see like who calls it Coke, who calls it pop. I'm just curious.
Don't forget to put soda pop.
Do people actually say soda pop?
Outsiders.
Yeah. That's cute. Soda pop. That's adorable.
It's a book.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that book.
Now, the big problem with the bottles was that you could not sanitize them. So they would go bad and people would get sick. You just couldn't fully clean it. They didn't have the right sponge, obviously. And so then they're like, what if we have a bottle cap? So the bottle cap was invented, and this caused new bottles to be able to be sanitized because of the way that it would stay fresh. And so new bottle drinks became very, very, very popular. So in 1910, the Coca-Cola bottling plants were all across the country, and they were selling a lot of Coca-Cola.
Nice.
Yeah, so as it was like, I guess it was a success after all. And
Joke's
many
on him.
Yeah, but the problem with the bottles was that many people were imitating their name and pretending to be Coca-Cola.
Of course.
The bottles were very, very similar. There was like a tiny detail in the bottom that showed that it was fake, but people didn't catch those. So customers couldn't tell the difference. And so because of this, people were getting like diseases and getting like big drugs in their drinks.
Oh, God.
And they were like, okay, we cannot trust bottles anymore. Like, we can't get our soda from bottles. So the bottlers, I just like bottle it. Like, that was their job. But the bottlers were losing business. And Candler was upset because now he's losing money because people aren't buying as much Coke. And so they decided to create their own unique bottle in 1915, which is still the bottle that they have today with like the classic.
Oh, yeah.
And so what they wanted to do with this bottle was make two things clear so that people knew it was the actual Coca-Cola. First thing was that it had to be recognizable in the dark, which means it had to have a shape that was different than the rest of the bottles. And if it didn't, you'd have to break it on the ground and get rid of it.
Yeah.
So what they decided to do was they created the shape like a cocoa pod, which is what they had inside of the Coca-Cola.
Okay.
So it's like the shape of like the chocolate seeds. And if you look at the bottle, they have those like rims, those little designs down. So it looks different than a normal bottle would. Yeah. So that was just a fun little tidbit there. Now let's talk about World War II, shall we?
Heck yeah. Everybody loved Coke during then.
Yeah. So at this time in World War II, sugar was restricted and rationed just because, money problems. And so a lot of people argued like Coca-Cola is essential to the country.
What?
We need it. And they were like, during a war, there's 3 things that will help us get through. And a lot of people agreed on these 3 things. You ready to hear them?
Yes.
Cigarettes, candy, and Coca-Cola.
That sounds like America.
America right there. And so they decided we're essential and everyone agrees. And so they became a trademark for the war. And so they agreed to give bottles to the troops and just keep sending them.
Okay.
So that the troops would have, it's kind of like getting a note from their home. It's like a fun little surprise.
We support you.
Yeah. And I'm kind of like, by that time, I feel like it would be so warm. Like, I don't think they'd keep it in like a cooler. Maybe they do.
I mean, if it's the middle of winter, you just stick it in the snow and you're good to go.
That is very true. Yes, indeed. All right. Anyway, yeah, so the company began to associate itself with the war. And this expanded a lot of companies overseas. And this is because Eisenhower, good old President Eisenhower, he wrote a note to the company asking for bottling plants that could be in other places. And this way they were able to spread it to other countries, and those who were out of the country at that time could kind of have a piece of America with them.
Yeah.
So they did that. So they expanded to other countries, and the military became a Coca-Cola sales force. There were only starting over. As of today, there are only 2 countries in the world that do not sell Coca-Cola.
Where's that?
Cuba and North Korea.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I wouldn't guess Cuba, but I guess it makes sense.
Well, yeah, because they were under a dictatorship for so long.
Yeah.
That hated America.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So anything American related, they're like, fuck you,
Yeah.
no.
And here's the crazy part. Are you ready?
Yes.
Coca-Cola's crazy. So, we know them. We're starting at this point in the war. We're relating Coca-Cola to like the heroism of the soldiers and how great America is.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're supplying to Nazi Germany as well. So it's kind of like...
That's where the capitalism comes in.
Yeah, exactly. But it's kind of
matter.
like, America's just like blindsided. They don't care. And everything starts getting banned in Germany. And so we have a chemist who created a new drink that was very similar. Instead of using the Coke syrup, they wanted to make it a little bit different. He used leftover scraps from produce, like apples. And this drink would later be named Fanta.
No way.
Yeah. Fanta was created by Nazi Germany.
It's a good thing I don't like it. I honestly, Fanta, when I was in the hospital, all I could drink was Fanta orange soda. So now I hate it.
Oh, really?
The passion is so... Orange soda makes me just like... Bleh.
I only like the orange one, and it's only from McDonald's, like when it's extra fizzy.
Everything's extra fizzy in McDonald's.
I know, the Sprite is so spicy. So but I was just like, I was shocked. I didn't know. Like, I knew it came from Germany, but I was like, oh, okay. Okay. It's fine. But then after the war, all the money that they made from Fanta went back to Coca-Cola, and Coca-Cola ended up buying Fanta, which is why it is a Coke product today. Fun times.
Wow.
Yeah. That was the first ever Coke product.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I was like, interesting. Yeah, so in 1955, Coke started selling Fanta in many countries across the world. And there was a thing called the Coca-Cola strategy. This was the best way to make someone drink it for life. And they believed that this was to ensure that they drink it from the earliest age possible. So, once we get to like the 60s, they wanted to make it easier to get Coca-Cola at a young age so that they could get these children to become addicted.
Of course. Sounds about right.
Yeah. So schools were actually earning money by giving Coca-Cola to kids. And so they were like, if you can get these kids to use this vending machine and, put their coin in, then we're going to give you guys money. And the schools obviously like had budget cuts, and they're like, oh my gosh, we have no money. This is perfect. So they were trusting Coca-Cola to provide them more money.
Yeah.
And so that's what they were doing, because again, they're trying to market to the children. It's like, Jesus.
Figure.
Yeah. And so now we even see, and for a long time we've seen, like during Christmas time, we see Santa Claus drinking Coca-Cola. And that's another way to tie kids into getting addicted at a young age. So.
It's like, it's advertising propaganda.
Exactly. In the 1980s, they realized that there were negative health effects on obesity, diabetes, and other health issues. This was a big time in the 80s where they just started freaking out about everything.
Yeah.
And so they believed that, Coca-Cola, we need to cut back on that. And they're starting like diet culture and all of that. And they're like, if kids are given a certain amount of sugar every day, they'll depend on it forever. So we should probably not give them so much sugar. Because it's true. Like, once you're addicted to something, you're going to want it. Yeah. And sugar is very, very addictive. And so they're like, a lot of people were mad, and they were like, why are you giving kids so much caffeine? Like, that is so wrong. Mm-hmm. They don't need this. They're children.
They already have so much energy.
Exactly. And then Coca-Cola responded by saying, the reason why we have caffeine in it is because it tastes better when you're drinking it. But then somebody once tried, a lot of people have tried like a Coca-Cola without the caffeine, and they say it tastes the exact same. So it's just another marketing strategy. Give kids the caffeine to get them addicted.
Yeah.
And adults too, you know? And so a lot of people were filing lawsuits for this and just saying, like, why are you trying to ruin my kids' lives? It got pretty intense. And so Coca-Cola kept claiming more research was needed, and they were paying off any doubts. So anytime someone tried to sue them, they're like, no, we're good. And they just could pay it off. And many tried to ban Coke for making people sick because there was a lot of cases of that.
Jeez.
And there were even, I think it was 3 people in a jail that were killed. And they blamed bad bottles of Coke for it.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, there was never really one final conclusion for that, but the person who was with them, they were all drinking Coke, and he got sick, and the rest of them died. So that's why they believed came from there.
Okay.
Coca-Cola has been offered to buy Pepsi many times. I'm going to talk about their rivalry for a bit. So we know Pepsi Cola came in, and Coke tried to sue Pepsi for having cola in the name. And it's like, cola, it's not really that like a brand of a name.
Yeah.
So the court denied them, saying that anyone could use the word cola. It ain't a big deal. And they were like, fine. But Coca-Cola and Pepsi, they always tried to compete. In 1975, Pepsi launched the Pepsi Challenge, which is where they gave people 2 white cups, one with Coke and one with Pepsi. And they said, drink them both and tell me which one tastes better. Pepsi was preferred by a lot more people. And Coke did their own test and found Pepsi also scored higher during their test, which is just a big slap in the face. It's like, okay. And so Pepsi sales were increasing. Coke was decreasing. You know, they're like the old one that nobody cares about anymore. Now that there's this fresh drink. Yeah. It's very exciting. So Coke decides, you know, I think if we change our formula, then people are going to want Coca-Cola more than Pepsi. So they changed their entire formula, and their new formula actually tasted a lot better than Pepsi. When they had people do the test again, people preferred the new Coca-Cola. But people got so mad at this, and I think this happened in like the 90s, I believe, 90s to 2000s. People were pissed, like going on strike.
Why?
Because they wanted the original Coke flavor.
Oh my God.
Yeah, even though it tasted better.
Yeah.
So that just kind of shows us that it was never about the taste. It's always just been about the marketing for Coca-Cola.
100%.
Yeah. And so like, they're like, but it's better. Like, you guys like it more than Pepsi. They're like, we will not drink Coca-Cola anymore until you get the original flavor back. So everyone was pissed. It was called New Coke. They don't have it for sale anymore. But they were like, okay, so I guess we will reintroduce our old flavor because nobody's buying Coca-Cola anymore. So they reintroduced the old flavor, and everyone was very, very happy about this.
Oh my God, the human species.
That's so funny.
Confuses me.
Right? It's just so funny that they're like, now we'd rather have Pepsi. And then when it gets better than Pepsi, they're like, oh, how dare you?
I know, right?
But this was probably one of the smartest marketing strategies to get people to come back to Coca-Cola.
Oh, 100%.
After they went back to the original flavor, everyone was obsessed with them again. And then Pepsi became less. Like, I feel like a lot of people prefer Coke, which I actually think Pepsi's better.
I don't like Diet Pepsi.
No, I've never had that, but I probably wouldn't like it. But I think Pepsi is just like, it's better than Coca-Cola for some reason. I don't know why, but it's not, I wouldn't drink it. Like, I wouldn't be like, I want a Pepsi. And so people realized they loved Coca-Cola. And now we have, I was going to list all of the Coca-Cola products, but oh my Lord, they have so many. So, you see like those machines that are in a lot of places that have like all of the flavors. You click Coke and it's like vanilla cherry. And it's like all of these things. I'm like, geez. So Coca-Cola has become huge to this country.
Oh, yeah, especially with, like, the advertisement. Like, they always have them for, like, Super Bowl, especially around Christmas.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they even have, like, Coca-Cola stores. Like, when we went to Orlando and we went to Disney Springs, they had a whole Coca-Cola store. But I'm like, I don't really like Coke that much to be wearing it.
Right. But some people would.
I would do that for Mr. Pibb or Dr. Pepper.
Mr. Pibb.
I love Mr. Pibb.
I love it too. You should get a Mr. Pibb shirt.
I do, because you can't find it in like the individual cans.
Yeah.
I can only find it at like selected movie theaters for some odd reason.
Yeah.
And occasionally at a restaurant. I love Mr. Pibb.
I honestly think that it's better than Dr. Pepper.
I think so too.
I don't remember who it was, but at the movie theater, someone we were working with.
Yeah.
Somebody ordered a Dr. Pepper and he was like, we only have Mr. Pibb. He hasn't gotten his doctorate yet. And I thought that was the best joke anyone's ever said.
You had to tell me who that was after this.
I don't remember.
Oh.
Well, I do remember it. I don't know his name. I can't remember it.
What do you look like?
He had like a ponytail.
I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
He was like, I'm out here like a Ferrari every single day.
It was him, yes.
He was honestly pretty great to work with, because he was super nice. He was funny.
A lot of people didn't like him, I feel like.
Yeah, well, because he actually followed the rules.
And then there was me like, oops, I accidentally poured the wrong icy. Guess I have to drink it.
I know, right? Towards the end of working at the movie theater, I was like, I don't give a fuck. I like poured these like the little courtesy cups that constantly. Yeah. I was like, I don't care at this point.
Yep. Oh man, fun times. Yeah, that's the history of Coca-Cola.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah. Did have cocaine in it. Even though Coca-Cola will try to tell you it didn't.
Yeah.
They still try to say that, but it's like...
I thought this one's always... I like doing like the restaurants and stuff that become a thing, just because it is part of our history, especially here in the U.S. Mm-hmm. And even doing some that are like worldwide now. Like I would love to do one on Starbucks.
Oh, that'd be so interesting.
Eventually, because that's a worldwide product.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Mm-hmm. But there's so much interesting.
McDonald's is a fun story.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's like a whole I know there is like a documentary on it.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called.
Founder.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's not the documentary. That's the movie about the founder.
Oh, okay.
And how the wrong person got all the credit. There is a documentary. But I forgot what it's called.
I don't eat McDonald's really, so I don't know.
Me neither, unless I'm drunk and I want French fries.
Hell
or
yeah.
Spicy Sprite.
Yes. What a fun night.
Yeah, very fun. But yeah, like watching those documentaries, I felt like betrayed because I wanted a Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but watching them pour into the glasses with the ice, like how they do at the movie theater.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I need one. But yeah, drinking it today, I was like, nope, still don't like it.
Is that what you learned?
Yeah. I still don't like Coca-Cola.
Well,
what'd you learn?
I learned that Dr. Pepper was not named after Dr. Peppermint.
Pepperton.
Get
it right. No, the Fanta thing really blew me away, though.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah.
That was something completely new.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Fanta was a Coke product, to be honest.
Basil calls it Fanta. He's like, because the
Fanta,
commercial.
Fanta.
Yeah. But I'm like, every time I've ordered Fanta, every time I say Fanta, they think I'm insane.
Yeah.
They're like, what? So I just say Fanta now. If you say Fanta, they're like, what the hell are you talking about?
So rude.
I'm always like, I'm sorry.
Forgive me.
One time I went to the last time I was at McDonald's, I wanted a spicy Sprite, and I was like, can I get a Sprite? And they were like, our soda machine actually isn't working.
What?
I was like, iconic. Iconic for McDonald's to do that. So I didn't get a Sprite that day.
So all of their machines weren't working?
All of their soda was just gone. It just wasn't working.
How? Why are they even open at that point?
I don't know.
All people want are their shitty fries and their dollar sodas.
Their fountain sodas are they're better than usual.
Well, yeah, I heard too that their sweet tea is really good.
I'm not a sweet tea person.
I don't really drink tea, so I don't know.
I like the unsweetened tea. My dog is so cute. She's just laying here. Yeah, I ain't talking about you. You look like a baby kangaroo. Aww. Anyway.
Where can you find us?
Sorry, I thought I was going to burp. Again. All right. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok at Historia the Podcast. You can email us at historiathepodcast@gmail.com. Send us your requests, your comments. Do you like Coca-Cola? There was another poll I was going to do.
Oh, you should do a preference.
Oh, yeah. Like Coca-Cola or Pepsi?
Or Dr. Pepper. Or Mr. Pibb. Put Mr. Pibb in there.
Oh, we could do Dr. Pepper or Mr. Pibb. Do you think everyone's tried Mr. Pibb?
I don't know.
I wonder. Because I feel like a lot of people probably have it.
I just love it. It's
like good. I don't like Dr. Pepper, but I like Mr. Pibb.
Honestly, I feel like Mr. Pibb has like a spicier taste to it.
Yeah.
For some odd reason. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just a carbonation in the sugar, but
you know
I like
really
it.
Good? That high C pink lemonade.
Oh, and you mix it with Sprite.
Yes.
Oh my god. Let's just go to the movies just to get pink lemonade, and I don't even think they have the pink lemonade. I don't know. I haven't.
Oh yeah, because they changed everything.
Well, I haven't been to the movie theater in a hot minute.
Yeah.
Since we saw Conjuring 3.
I usually just go to Roadhouse because it's fancy and it's a restaurant.
I've been still trying to get James to go. We're gonna end this episode, so thank you for staying tuned.
Yeah, we'll stop talking to each other.
We'll check you next week.
We're gonna end this. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.